Hi, it's Monday, and I'm wondering if it's going to be meatless where you live. So hi, my name's Philly, and today I'm going to be showcasing a Meatless Monday recipe. So I'm not sure how you all felt after the new year, but I know after all of the holiday get-togethers and parties and celebrations, I was super craving vegetables. And while I always include vegetables in my meals, I kind of wanted January to be a bigger focus on them. And one way that Hubs and I include vegetables in our meals is sometimes having meatless ones where the vegetables are the star. And so the recipe today, I'm really excited to try and share with you because we've had something similar. These are meatless meatballs, and the star of the show are eggplant. So we are going to get started. This recipe is from Ereka Vetrini, and she is on, I think she has a YouTube channel and an Instagram channel, and it's her Vegetarian Meatballs, and the main ingredient is eggplant, and that is often the main ingredient for meatless meatballs. And what I loved about this is that we had them at a chain restaurant. It's like a fast casual restaurant called Be Good, the letter B and Good, which is one that works with local farms for sustainable food and healthy offerings. And they had a vegetarian meatball there. They also have meat there, so they're not all vegetarian, but they did have vegetarian meatballs that had used eggplant as their main part of the meatball, and they were delicious. I mean, really liked them. So I wanted to try these on my own. So welcome to the stream. I know Barbara's excited, and Barbara, you were sharing that because you make some with eggplant and sometimes zucchini, maybe both. I was wanting some clarification on that, but I think you prepare it a different way. Maybe you, I forget how you said, so tell me a little bit about how you prepared the eggplant, because what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to start cutting in just a second, because we are going to salt them, let them seep out some of the moisture for a few minutes, and then we're going to roast them before we make our meatballs. And Eugenia, oh, snowy where you are. We are going to be getting a little bit of snow. We still haven't had very much snow, but I'll take whatever we can get. So we had a couple flurries yesterday. They called it a snow squall, but honestly, it did not feel very squallish to me. And by the way, so what I'm just going to do right here is I'm just going to cube this. And then I'm going to put it in a colander and salt it to help draw out some of the extra moisture before we roast it. But tonight we are actually, yes, this evening into tomorrow, like 1 p.m., we're supposed to be getting more significant, I don't even know if they're going to be snow squalls, but snow in some amounts, but like it might be 1 inch to 3, which for the city often means it's going to be about 1 inch. At least that, I feel like, is my experience. So I'm just going to get these cubes. Let me get a colander out, because that was one thing I hadn't gotten out yet. So Barb and Eugenia, welcome to the stream. There we go. So I'm going to put this there, and that way once I cube them, I can just dump them in. Oh, you shred. That's right. That I knew it was something different, Barbara. So Barbara shreds it. That sounds very cool. Well, you'll have to share that recipe sometime, because this one, the one thing with this, as you can see, is it does take a little bit of prep ahead. I'm going to be doing a couple things to help it go a little faster. I'm going to use my convection oven, which will speed up the roasting, and I have a plate already chilling in the fridge, because you should let the eggplant come to room temperature before you whiz it up in the food processor. Oh, I forgot to get that out. I need to get that out before you whiz it into the food processor, so that everything is kind of room temperature. The other thing we're going to be making that's going to go in these are quinoa, or is quinoa, and I love quinoa. And quinoa is, although it really feels like a grain to me, it's actually a seed, and because of that, it has protein, which is nice. So I feel like with the quinoa, it kind of ups some protein, because I know, I'm not sure about you all, but for me, one of the benefits of protein, besides the fact that I really enjoy meat protein, is the fact that it does keep me fuller longer. I'm someone that definitely needs to have protein in the morning, or I am hungry in like an hour or two. So that's one of the ways I kind of maintain, I don't know if it's my blood sugar or whatnot, but it really does help me stay fuller longer. So I'm just cubing these up. We got a couple runaways. You've had 2 feet in the last 3 days. Oh my goodness, and it hasn't been above 10 degrees. Well, you can see I'm in a sweatshirt today because she lives in Washington. Or is it Oregon, Eugenia? Is it Washington or Oregon? I forget. But she's out west, northwest. So I'm in a sweatshirt. I'm comfy. It is a holiday for us here, MLK Day. So yeah, and it's chilly here in the city. So I am actually in a sweatshirt just because I wanted to be comfortable. Plus, it's the last day before we head back to work tomorrow. So just kind of wanted to enjoy it. We were up early this morning because we had to get, being in the city, we don't have a lot of storage. And so we actually have a storage closet across the river in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And we needed to bring our Christmas decorations there so that we could put them back away because there are quite a few boxes, plus the tree, the artificial tree that has lights on it that you have to kind of squish back up. So all of that went back today. And we started it with some time at the gym. So we made some healthy choices today. But I do love cold. You were mentioning that too. And I know Barbara likes cold and snow too, right, Barbara? I know, I'm jealous with you, Barb. And Eugenia says, Andrew loves to grow eggplant, but I never know what to do with it. I didn't grow up eating it. Central Oregon, so that's where she lives. Hubs is just hanging out on the couch. He's going to kind of be chilling today, but he'll come to taste and see how it all is good, because this will be our dinner today. But yes, I did not grow up eating eggplant, and I will be honest with you, I think because of the name, and this is like what happens with young kids, right? The name itself made me out. Even though I liked eggs, eggplant, and it looked funny to me, and it looked big, and then when you cut it open, it looked like there were seeds inside. So here is our eggplant. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna salt this, and I'm just gonna let it kind of sit. I'm going to salt it and toss it and let it sit and just weep a little bit. Let me get my, there we go. So I'm just going to salt it, toss it to get that salt on everything and let it weep a little bit. And then we are going to pat it dry before we roast it. There we go. So yeah, so I was definitely not an eggplant fan as a young child, but now what I love is a really well done eggplant parmesan. And the places that are my favorite that do it, they have it very thin, and it's just buttery. I mean, it's cooked so that it just melts in your mouth, and I absolutely love that. But I've also gotten the Chinese eggplant that are smaller, and those are nice for stir fries. I've actually made pasta alla norma, which is a red pasta dish that uses eggplant in it, and that's really good. I've definitely come to team eggplant. I definitely enjoy it. And the other thing I really like at Italian restaurants, especially here in the city, is eggplant rollatini, where they, cut it thin, bread it, fry it, and they roll it in some ricotta, and who knows what else deliciousness is in there as well. And then there's like a red sauce draped on it. So I love eggplant. What are your all's favorite things with eggplant? Yes. Well, if you got that snow and that cold, Eugenia, it's best just to stay home. I don't blame you. Hey, Johnny. You had to comment, didn't you, my friend? It's on your no-fly list. It came by me gradually. I firmly believe with most foods, and see what you think Johnny, or Chris, I should say. But I feel like with a lot of foods, it's on our no-fly list until we have the right dish, right? Or until it's prepared the right way. So one of the foods that was like this for me was octopus. My sister loved octopus, Hubs loved octopus, my mom loved octopus, and I didn't like the idea of it, even though at that point I was eating calamari, which again was a slow come to me too. And again, had it at the right place, cooked perfectly, and then I kind of became team calamari. But the octopus, I was slow to come with that because I just feel like I didn't have it in a way that really got me past what it was, if that makes sense. And then finally, it was a restaurant in the city named Estia. And they have a couple different, it's not a chain, but they do have a couple other locations just outside the city. And their octopus, it's like butter. I mean, it's fresh, and I don't know if it's marinated or what they do with it, but it is fabulous.
What else is great there?
At Estia?
Yeah, the eggplant.
Oh, well, moussaka.
No.
Oh.
Remember that appetizer?
Oh my gosh. Oh, Chris, I'm going to get you on Team Eggplant. So at Estia, thanks, Hubs. I know you can't, Hubs doesn't have his mic on yet. He'll put it on when he tastes. But what he was reminding me is at Estia, the same place that got me on Team Octopus, was there were two dishes. First of all, moussaka is not moussaka. Moussaka does have eggplant. I'm thinking baba ganoush. The first time I had a really good baba ganoush blew me away. I mean, the flavor and the eggplant, and it was creamy, buttery almost, and garlicky and all that goodness. So love baba ganoush. But then they have these, they take the eggplant and they slice it so very thin and fry it. So there you go. It is absolutely stunning how delicious it is. Like, I feel like it can convert anyone who doesn't like eggplant to it. And oftentimes, don't you think fried is the way that happens? But Estia is a great restaurant. They have a lot of fabulous food. So in the meantime, while this is sweating, I'm gonna get our quinoa cooked. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I don't know about you all, but like for what I find with quinoa is similar to what I find with rice. Most package directions use too much water, so it comes out watery. So one of the things with quinoa is I always add less water. So I'm just gonna cook a cup. We only need a half a cup of cooked quinoa, but I am just gonna cook a cup and then I'll have it for this week because it does have protein. I can add it to a salad to kind of bulk it up a little bit. And maybe I'll use it with one of our dinners. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to measure out, actually, you know what? I lied. I'm gonna do a half cup because I don't think I actually want, whoopsie, I wanna cook quite that much. So I'm actually going to cook a half a cup of dried quinoa. So let me first measure this out here. I don't really love these containers because it's kind of hard to get the exact measurement. And then I'm going to rinse this. I don't know why we rinse quinoa. Someone watching might know, but I know they always say to rinse it. So I'm going to rinse it. And so I have a sieve. Oh, there's my sieve. I'm just going to dump it in there. Give her a rinse. And then I'm going to double the water and reduce it. So since it's a half cup, I'm not going to put a full cup. I'm going to put between, not quite 3/4 cup. I might just do 3/4 cup, but just maybe a little bit more than 3/4 cup. But they say just double it. I always think it's too watery. I'm not pleased with the product when that happens. So, and let me just remember, I think, yeah, we combine both at once. So let me just put that back in the pan. And then he's complaining. And then I'm gonna put half cup and about 1/4 cup. There we go. So a little bit less. There we go. And I'm gonna get this to a boil. So Chris's aunt is definitely not in the eggplant. I'm curious, Chris, was there a certain dish that turned you off that you tried with it? Because I do think that's kind of what matters. Marcy, hello, it's welcome. Yes, moussaka, it is delicious. Moussaka, we've had it a couple different places. It is very rich. I can't eat a lot of it. Archie, welcome. I see Archie has joined the game. Oh my goodness. And let's see what else. Eugenia said she doesn't remember it being popular here in the Pacific Northwest when she was a child. Well, Eugenia, now stop that. But don't you think when we all were younger, there was just so much vegetables, produce, fruits, meats, like it was so much limited. I mean, we're very spoiled now on what we can get our hands on, but back then it was pretty basic what our parents would find at the store. And yes, Barbara, eggplant rollatini. So for Archie, it's 8:15. Yes, I'm on today. It's a different day for me, although after hearing from Kathy and her difficulty getting on the streams because of her work schedule. Today didn't work for her. Usually Mondays would work for Kathy. So hi, Kathy, sending out our best to you. But I'm going to try to do it. She can't do it today because it is a holiday. On holidays, she would have to work, which sounds counterintuitive, but on a regular Monday. So I'll try to do another regular Monday next month so that Kathy can join us because we do miss her presence for sure. And also sending our best out to DS and Ruby because I know DS is still on the mend and hoping he feels better soon and just so he knows that we're thinking of him. And let's see here. Oh my gosh, Paul, you're on. Welcome. Oh, you have been missed too. Some of my foodie friends that I have not had a chance to have on stream. So glad to have you. Happy New Year. Oh my gosh. Look at all these wonderful foodies here. Oh, Marcy, Eugenia, Barbara, Archie, Chris, or Johnny. Poe, oh my gosh, so many great people just catching up. I'm glad you said hi. That meant the day. That meant my day. Baba Ganoush. Oh, so that's what did it for you, Chris. I'm so sorry. So I'm wondering because I've had Baba Ganoush that I haven't, liked as much. So I wonder if you just had one that wasn't as well done. The one they make, I honestly, I'm not here to be an advertisement for the restaurant of SD in Philadelphia, but I've not had anything that was not fabulous there. They just make, it's a Greek restaurant, they make absolutely delicious foods. And their Baba Ganoush is phenomenal there. So I'm sorry that kind of went like that for you. But I will say for texture-wise, a crispy eggplant, especially their chips, oh, I think you could get into that. And it's about 10:30 in South Africa, and you'll be going to bed soon, I'm sure, because I know at 10:30, by 10:30 here, I'm definitely in bed soon. Yes, we are hoping he feels better, Marcy. I totally agree. Yes. Texture. You know what? And my son, Matt, a lot of foods are a no for him because of texture. He definitely has some texture issues, so we are very aware of that. That definitely happens to him. So I'm just checking on my quinoa. So for those of you who are just joining, I've cut up 2 eggplant, and I cubed it, salted it, and it's just kind of getting some of the moisture out. We'll be drying it in a second. I've got my oven preheating to 425. I'm actually going to put it on convection 400 just so it actually cooks a little bit quicker. It's going to cook for about 20 minutes and then turn it in 20 minutes, but we'll do it 15 because we're doing convection, and then we might have to add a couple minutes at the end of the second time. We'll just kind of wing it. I've got a cold pan or a plate in the fridge. In fact, I'm going to get a cold bowl also for my quinoa because I'll need a half cup of this quinoa cooked. So that's a little tip. If you're trying to cool something quick, I'm sure you all know this. I just put one of my bowls in the fridge, and it just helps when I'm getting that food out. It helps it go to a colder container, which is usually what we're not trying to do. We usually want everything to stay warm, but if you're trying to cool it down for part of the preparation, that's kind of a good tip. So I have both of those in there, and I think this is going to be boiling soon. And then this then cooks, I think it's like about, I forgot to look. I haven't cooked quinoa in a while. Where did I put oh, here we go. I think it cooks for, yes, 15 minutes. So it is just about coming up. So almost at a boil. So in this recipe, let me tell you about what else is going to be going in. So besides the roasted eggplant, we're going to be in our food processor, we're going to be putting in the cooked quinoa, some fresh parsley that we're going to chop up, and we're going to use some of them for something we're going to be doing with the meatballs that I'll tell you about in a second. Some fresh oregano. I could not get my hands on fresh oregano, so I'm putting dried oregano in, but less. Obviously, there's a good ratio to remember when you're doing fresh herbs to dried herbs. So if it's like 3 times less, or it's like a third. Not 3 times less, a third. So instead of a tablespoon of fresh oregano, I'm going to use a scant teaspoon of dried oregano, some garlic, grated, salt, pepper, and then optional, she said, Calabrian chilies. Well, you know, I love me some spice, so I'm going to definitely add that. You could leave that out, and she does add a tablespoon. So you could either leave it out entirely, or you could just add a portion of it, but I'm gonna add the tablespoon because Hubs and I like a little heat. I'll let you know what the heat was like adding that tablespoon, so it'll give you an idea of what you might want to adjust or leave out. If you try this recipe, we're gonna be adding fresh Parmigiano-Reggiano cheese and some eggs. So that'll be whizzed up, make some meatballs, and then those are gonna get roasted for another 15 plus minutes, and then we're gonna be putting them in sauce. And the sauce is my shortcut because we're doing all this prep, so I am taking a shortcut. I think my quinoa is boiling. So let me put the lid on and reduce that to a simmer and put this on for 15 minutes. So I'm taking a shortcut since we're doing so much prep for the meatballs. And Barb, I know she loves this too. Barbara, we have Raos. So the story, if you haven't heard it yet, those of you who have, just, I thank you for your for your pause of me embellishing my Raos story. But this is a restaurant in New York. This is not just a, when you see this in the stores, it is more expensive. It's worth it. It tastes good. It tastes almost like homemade. And I've actually watched a couple of shows that rate jarred sauces, and this one always gets high marks. It's one of the highest marks it gets. And the other one is one I've never seen. I can't recall what the name. It was another restaurant. So Raos makes a great sauce when you are either don't have time or you're doing a lot of heavy work on one element and you don't want to be doing that on this element. So I am taking the shortcut with that, and part of it's because I know this is good. So what I'll be doing once we roast our meatballs is we're going to get them simmering in some sauce. I'll add a little bit of cheese, and then while our eggplant is roasting, we're going to be making something special. Instead of putting them on pasta, which is absolutely what you could do, Hubs and I were talking about it, and we're kind of like, we didn't kind of feel like pasta today. I know, isn't that crazy? But I actually didn't either. I didn't feel like pasta today. And so we're going to have it with bread, but we could just have it with, well, actually, we couldn't have it with the sourdough bread. Let me show you what's left of the sourdough I made the other day. Y'all, this is what's left of that big old sourdough loaf. Now, Hubs and I did not eat all of it. We ate almost half of it. We sent the other half, he went to the car show with both boys, so with the youngest that you've seen here, Matt, and our eldest, David. They did a guy's day at the car show, and I sent David home with half a loaf because he and his wife have not had one of my loaves yet, so I wanted to make sure they got to enjoy some. So that's all that's left. So we're going to be doing something else, and I will tell you about that once the eggplant goes in. Speaking of which, let's check it out. And I think it has sweated a good amount. They said at least 15 minutes. It's been almost 15 minutes. So let me get out my towel and let's check out the chat and let's get that dried and into the oven. So let's see here. You've been up for a very long time. I'm sure you have. Let's see. Oh, I have something covering. So Eugenia said it's 20 past noon. Oh, so we're going to drizzle extra virgin olive oil and salt and pepper. Not salt, sorry, just extra virgin olive oil. She actually doesn't add any of the salt and pepper, any more of it until we make the meatballs. So just going to drizzle it and let it cook 20 minutes, flip it, like kind of flip it over, and then another 20 minutes. Since I'm using convection, I am going to shorten it to about 15 minutes because it'll cook up a little faster. And Dude, hey Dude Dining, welcome. So what's good is I hope these meatballs, these meatless meatballs will be good. So we are making some with eggplant, and I'm just about to get this dried and onto our pan. So let's do that. So I've got my 2 cookie sheets. Let me make some space here. I'll put that there. And I do know, I don't know if I'll need both, but I want them to spread out. I want them to dry out because we're trying to get the moisture out of them to make them kind of more meaty, so to speak. And then I've got parchment paper. So we're going to line both of these pans with parchment paper. So, Dude, have you ever had meatless meatballs? And if so, what has been the main ingredient in them? And Marcy said she used to work in a vegetarian restaurant. How interesting. And I did try eggplant moussaka. This was during my high school years. Yes, I didn't like it much. I do think what is ever turned, because trust me, I've had some non-positive eggplant experiences when I was not as young as when I wouldn't even touch it, but older. And I think truly it's like you have to have it prepared the right way. I mean, there's some people that love eggplant no matter how it's cooked. You know, it's kind of that way. My mom was that way with Brussels sprouts. She loves Brussels sprouts now, but when she grew up, her mom boiled them. I mean, that was how they were cooked. And she absolutely disliked them. But when they're cooked right, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is how it can taste. And that changes everything. I'm just going to get some olive oil spray. I'm just going to put a little bit down here. Okay, and then we'll drizzle. Here's my drizzleable, if that's a word, olive oil. And let me get these dried.
It's not.
Hub said it's not a word. He does not like my verbiage. Alrighty, here we go. So so I don't know if you can see, but from salting them, they're a little shiny. It's been pulling some of the moisture out. So I'm just going to take, oopsie, I just lost one. So I'm going to take about half of this and pat it dry. And then I'll take the other half, pat it dry, and put it on the pan. And then we can spread it out. So we're just trying to get some of the moisture out of it. So just pick a very clean towel. These towels are older towels of mine that now I just use for this purposes. You know, a lot of us go through our towels because they kind of get yucky that you don't really want. They're not yucky as far as there's anything wrong with them, but they just don't look as nice. And so then I sometimes get a new towel, and then my old towels I use I actually give them heavier work. You know, before this one got a little bit not as pretty, it actually did a lot of work, you know, drying dishes, wiping up things. So I'm just patting these, and now I'm going to put these on here, spread them out. Let me just turn it this way. That's going to help the next one. Let me throw this little one runaway that came out. All right, so let me just wash my hands because I touched the floor. Wash them another time. And so I'm going to spread these out, and as Poe was saying, we're going to drizzle some olive oil on them. And before I do that, I'm actually going to get these other ones out here so they can start draining and drying a little bit. So this will just help. This whole process in the oven is to help this just become more meaty, so to speak, and that's going to replace. So Chris and Marcy, and you might have had them like this, Marcy, I'm wondering, with working at a vegetarian restaurant, this is going to totally change the texture of it. And if you look at Ereka's video, I did include the link below, just like I always do. The link below shows how she makes them. I also copied and pasted the actual recipe and directions that is on like the first comment that was from Instagram. And it just becomes like, it's really remarkable how they look. So I'm very excited to try this. All right, so we're just getting these into one layer. And then we'll drizzle it after I get my other ones ready. So let's just get these pressed. Let's see. Yeah, they look pretty good. Get these out. And then, whoops. Any other left? Nope, we're good. Okay. There we go. So we're gonna spread this out. And again, I just lightly oiled the bottom, but we will drizzle some oil over top. And that also adds to not only the flavor of them, but also the texture. And also just the satiability. You know, when we add fats, a lot of times it helps make things last, keep us fuller longer. So I'm just drizzling olive oil over top of these. She had said in her recipe, I think it was 1.5 tablespoons. I'm not going to measure, I'm just going to drizzle over. There we go. And these are going in the oven, 15 minutes. So I'm using convection, 15 minutes at 400 convection, or if it's a regular oven, 425 for 20 minutes. So let's get these in. Get one more. Let me reset that to convection. Let me just double check that. No, 425. I'm sorry, it's 450 regular oven, 425 convection. Okay, so that's all set. Dropped my drying towel. So those are started. Oh, and let me put the timer on. So let me get my other timer. There we go. So let's check on the chat and see what everyone's saying. So Post says, yummy, I do too, salt and pepper on the heavenly. And Archie's letting Poe know that he's there too, keeping a low profile, exhausted due to my teenager's birthday weekend, wiped you out. Oh, and you might have already said, but what did you guys do? What were some of the fun things? I know you went out to dinner. I'm sure he will recover. And you know what? I'm going to have to look because you probably posted and I didn't see it. I was saying this to May. I have not been seeing your posts or May's posts. Wiped out. I love it. Oh my gosh. I know it is exhausting, right? It's exhausting. So let me tell you, first of all, let me get out our, what's it called? My favorite tool that is so mean to me. Oh, it's a little high. The food processor, so y'all can get a little comedy relief with Phil trying to get it to actually go. This bane of my existence. So that's what we'll be blending up our meatballs in, if it'll cooperate and actually let me put the lid on. So let me get that ready to go, which will be still a little while, but at least it's set. And I gotta find the lid. It's up there somewhere. Oh, there it is. So do y'all have this problem when you can't reach something? One of the best things I use, which I'm sure what y'all do, some tongs, can go get those things that are a little far from us. I think, oh Hubs, I might need your help. Oh no, there it is. I can get this. There we go. Bingo. Very stubborn, a very stubborn woman. All right. So that is all set. So the next thing that we're going to make while everything's cooking is a special thing to have with our vegetarian meatballs. So the vegetarian meatballs, as I mentioned, eventually will be simmering in some sauce with a little bit of cheese sprinkled on top. But we need something with it. I mean, you don't have to have something with it, but we need something with it. So our bready accompaniment is going to be something I saw by, as the channel is She Will Evolve, and it's these cheesy garlic bread muffins. And they looked easy and delightful, so that is what we're going to be making. So let me get a bowl. So what you need for these cheesy garlic bread muffins is you do need some of the pre-made home style, not muffins, what are they? Biscuits, home style biscuit dough. And I happen to have some that I had, and actually the reason I had this is a little tip. If, in fact, Chris, you are the one that did the biscuits and gravy, right? You did the, or chicken and dumplings. You did the chicken and dumplings, correct? I think that was you. That looked absolutely phenomenal. So a little hack, don't tell on me, but is if you are making chicken and dumplings, and now chicken and dumplings opens a whole wide array of different kinds of dumplings, but one style of dumpling isn't the big puffy ones, and it is one that you can achieve by rolling a biscuit dough flat, and you make it almost look like a noodle. So it becomes almost like an old-fashioned homemade noodle. I don't know how it all works, but it is delicious. So if you ever want to add something different to your chicken and dumplings, or you don't have the time to make, which I know biscuit dough doesn't take a long time to make, but if you have a can of these and you roll them out and cut them in strips, I'm telling you, it is really delicious. They puff up, they're chewy in the best way. So, so we're going to be using these. We're going to just be cutting these up and dicing them. Let's see if it pops. I remember when I was younger, this always would startle me, so I need to get my spoon to help me get it open. This always makes me think of Elf. Oh, there it is. When he's doing that Jack in the Box and it keeps popping out at him. Will Ferrell. Okay, so you're going to take these out, and then we're just going to cut these up and dice them. I'm going to throw this away. So just take your dough and just dice it up. And then that's going to go in a bowl. And it does, I think they do recommend us the home style, not the ones that are the flaky layers. So that should be our quinoa. So let's check and see if our quinoa is done. So I'm kind of removing them because they kind of stick to each other. Yep, it looks done. I'm going to take it off the heat. Let's see here. And you know what? I'm going to let me stir it first. And I'm going to let it sit on the heat for off the heat for 5 minutes. Just let it finish absorbing any more water. Then I'll put it in the cold bowl that's in there. All right, so there we go. So these are just so easy to chop. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding some different seasonings and some mozzarella cheese. And then we're going to form them into balls and then put them in muffin tins. And then they're going to puff up and be these pull-apart, cheesy, garlicky yumminess. So that is what we're having with our vegetarian meatballs. So who says vegetarian can't be fun, right? Now, if this was vegan, because that's another thing, I don't know if you all see this on the foodie parts of Instagram or Twitter, is there is a difference. I have a niece who is vegetarian, and I have a niece who's vegan, and they both very much stick to their choices, and it is different. You know, for those who don't know, vegan is absolutely no animal products whatsoever, including anything dairy. So, and she includes, there's a lot of things it includes. It's actually one of those things that if you're trying to cook for someone who's vegan, you want to really be aware of their preferences for things so that you can make sure that what you're cooking for them, that they will enjoy and want to eat. So we have our biscuit dough all cubed up. And then to that, we are going to melt some butter, and we're going to need some parsley. So why don't we get this parsley chopped up? Let me see. We're going to need some for our meatballs, and we're going to need some for these little pull-aparts. So, Marcy, you were saying that you used to work at a vegetarian restaurant. Was there a recipe that you especially enjoyed at that restaurant, and what was it? Because I'm curious to know that. Yes, use a grabber. Oh, there's a grabber. There we go. Well, the tongs work quite well, but yes, we need help. We need help with these things. I love it. I think you're commenting, Archie, on the what could we have with our vegetarian meatballs. I think that's probably what you were commenting on. Oh, you are familiar with that style of dumpling. Okay. Oh, I didn't know this. See, honestly, I love you guys. Like, I did not know, Eugenia, I did not know it was called Slickers or Slicks. That is awesome. Well, it's a really nice and quick way to get, a dumpling-ish kind of thing. I've already washed my parsley, by the way. That's actually one of the things I wanted to do, was just let it dry a little bit out there before the stream. So I'm just going to chop this up, and again, I'm going to use some of this for these pull-aparts, and I'm going to use some of it for our meatballs. So we'll save some to use once we make them, and just give it a chop. Now, the other thing we're going to be adding to these, besides the cheese, is we're going to add some butter. Now, to the butter, she adds a garlic and herb seasoning. I don't have that. I could obviously put together something. I could add some garlic powder or fresh garlic with some Italian herbs, but my nieces got me this for, one of the things they got for Christmas was this oregano, basil, and tomato. It's dehydrated, and we've already used it to make garlic bread. And it doesn't have garlic in it, by the way. But what's nice is having that tomato in there really gives like another layer of flavor with the oregano and basil. So this is yummy. So this is what I'm going to be adding as a seasoning and adding some garlic powder. And again, you could use fresh garlic. I am using fresh garlic in my meatballs, but sometimes I find that in something like this, sometimes I find that the garlic powder kind of does a better job of kind of going around to all the different corners and flavoring. So that's just me, but you could certainly add, whatever you wish. Oh, and there's one more thing I want to show you. So speaking of, so this was a Christmas present from my nieces, but my sister gave me the loveliest Christmas present. Let me get close so you can see. Look at that. That is a fork. And then the other one is, hopefully you can see that. That is a spoon. Hopefully you can see that. So I love these. So it's a fork and spoon earrings. And I forgot to mention them the last time I was on, and I squealed when I got them because I thought they were just adorable. All right, our timer is up, and that is our 5-minute timer. I can tell which one. So let's fluff this and get a half cup out. Woo! Get a little steam bath. And you can see, oh, it's perfect. So I want to show you. Just so again, and a lot of you probably already know this, but using less water, it just makes the fluffiest quinoa. So I'm going to take a half cup of this and I'm going to put it in my cold bowl that's in here. Let me get my measure. I may have put it in here already. Okay, I did not. Oh, I put it on the drying rack. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to put a half cup. Okay, so half cup of quinoa. Now, there's all different kinds of quinoa. This is a mixed quinoa. It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter which quinoa you use. You could use, I think there's white, red, there's the dark one. This is a mixture one. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. And then the rest of this I can use, again, as for a salad, really anything. There's so many different things. You can use it in place of a grain, which is nice. So I'm going to get this into the fridge to finish cooling. We've got our parsley chopped. I'm going to get my mozzarella chopped for this. And she says in there to use 4 to 5 pieces of string cheese. So I have a chunk of mozzarella cheese, so I'm just going to cut it accordingly. Get my kitchen shears. So I thought, oh no, it says easy peel. Well, let's just see. Let's see how easy this peel is, because sometimes they say that, and oh, I think it is easy peel. Oh, look at that. It actually does what it says. I love it. So I don't need my shears. Okay. There we go, and we're just going to take this out. I'm just going to take a portion of it out and just kind of slice it. Let me get a different knife. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a slice. So that looks like about 3, and I'm just going to do one more chunk. There we go. I think that's enough. I mean, you can never have too much cheese, but we are trying to be a little mindful, enjoy, but just a little mindful. Let me get that cheese put away. And then I'm just going to chunk this up. I think I might have too much cheese, actually. Now that I look at this. Okay, well, we'll see. Can you ever have too much cheese? I think I was trying to actually be good, and I think I'm making more, but I'm just going to go with it. We're being good not having the meat in there, right? So I'm just cubing this up. I think we might have as much cheese as we have the muffins or the biscuits. I'm putting those in there. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to get some butter melted. We are going to melt, and let me get my parsley in there. There we go. We're getting our butter melted. I think 3 tablespoons of butter. So we're going to get, and this is that great little container. So I bought some stuff today. Hubs was rolling his eyes. You know, I've been trying a couple of things this year with the dry January, and some things, you know, were positive. Like I've enjoyed, what's it called, ginger beer. Like I know it's not beer, but I enjoy that flavor. I was slow to that one with the whole Moscow mules and all that kind of thing. Just didn't really love it, but I've really enjoyed trying some different things with it. But this thing I got that's still in my fridge, y'all can see I haven't made a dent on it. Should probably just throw it away. That was just okay. I just felt like it was soda. It was supposed to be like a sparkling wine. 1 second. Okay, let's check. Hold that thought. Let's check I'm going to bring you all over. We're going to check our eggplant, and I'm going to be flipping them. So let's see. Here we go. Might get a little bit of a facial. Whoop, there you go. Got a little bit. Okay, let me wipe you off there, friends. Okay, so there we go. So they're just roasting. So I'm going to flip them now, but they're drying out, which is exactly what we want. So let me put you all back so I can get these dried out. Okay, so let me just take them out and do some flippage. And we'll get them back in. And they've shrunk. Like that's exactly what you see. So I'm just trying to get these flipped to help them brown. Nothing perfect we're trying to do. I actually love that we keep the skins on them because I feel like that adds to the fiber. And also that's where some of the good vitamins, nutrients are. I'm going to get the other one out. You could taste one of these. Just know they can't hear you because your microphone's not on. But you can taste one of these. They only have salt that they had before. Hubs has come to do a tasting. They're a little hot, just warning you. Are they tasty?
Yeah.
Okay. So even now, Chris, you might like it better because it's not going to be as mushy. I'm going to do a little taste. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so putting these in for 15 more minutes. Okay, alrighty. So we've got that, and now we need our melted butter. And I'm going to actually add to the melted butter the garlic. So I'm just eyeballing it, putting some garlic powder in there. And then some of this seasoning. Again, you can use whatever seasoning you have, or you could leave it out. But definitely I'd put some salt in there so you get something. But this will just add some nice flavor to it. She says in there a teaspoon of seasoning. I might just add a tad more, but just do it to your likes. There we go. And then we're just going to melt this. So let's get this melted. I always talk about having horror stories melting butter in the microwave. I always get splatters. So we'll see if this one splatters or not. Let's see. All right, and then we're going to add it to this, and then we're going to form these into little balls and put them in here. So let me get those sprayed with a little bit of olive oil. I don't know if this is necessary because this is silicone, but I've had things stick in these silicone things. I prefer my metal muffin pan, but my metal muffin pan has 12, and I thought this was 6. I'm just going to use it. I thought that might, in a way, just be easier. Oh, my butter is done. And I didn't splurt, so that's good. All right, so here is our melted butter. Let me turn that off. And just going to, no, I'm not going to use that. Let me use a little something to stir. All right. Okay, and then all we're going to do is we're going to pour this. So this is what we have so far. Cheese, the biscuits cut up, parsley. We're pouring some of this butter and seasoning on it. We're giving it a stir. And then we're going to make these into little balls. Oh, it smells so good. Like right now, it smells absolutely divine. These are going to be definitely tasty. I mean, what is there not to love in this?
What's in there?
It's biscuit dough, cheese, mozzarella cheese, butter, parsley, and seasoning.
Biscuit.
Yeah, and then they're gonna it's gonna be like almost like a pull apart garlic cheesy bread. So then I'm just gonna eyeball this and put it into, I'm gonna have it and then take that half and make three in here. There we go. Okay. So I'm just gonna form it into a ball. And then I'm gonna put it right there in the tin. Form it into a ball. The OCD person in me is wondering if the cheese has been, dolled out evenly. That's my concern. Does everything have enough cheese? I'm gonna grab that one piece of cheese. There we go. And then we're gonna break this one into 3 different sections also. There we go. Oh, but back to my conversation. So one of the things, there were a couple of other things I wanted to try. There was this wine called Shirley that I'd heard good things about that I wanted to try, but I didn't like that I had to buy a whole bottle, and the bottle itself was, it was like 23. I think one of them was 20, one was 23, and I said to him, I have a hard time buying good wine for that amount because I can be a little stingy. I said, I'm not going to buy fake wine that I don't know if it's really good, like if I can trust that it is really good enough to try. So I declined that. But I had also been hearing very good things about this this brand called Ritual. And Ritual makes 0 proof liquor. And so even though that was about the same price, I think it was $23, I decided to try the tequila. So I haven't made anything yet with it. I'm going to try it tonight and make a mocktail margarita just to see. Margarita is one of my favorite cocktails. I love tequila. Oh, I have a piece of cheese. I need to shove that somewhere because we don't want anyone to miss cheese. There we go. That can go there. So let me just show you that to you real quick. It's a Ritual. So I will let you know how it goes. So I don't know if anyone's tried any of this.
What was the little bottle?
Oh, and then I'll show you. So this is called Ritual. It's the tequila alternative.
What's cool about that?
Yes, they can't hear you though.
Calories, right?
Oh, and it's 0 calories, or it's very little calories. I think it might even be 0 calories. I know, but I don't have my readers on, so I can't see it. And then the other thing I got, they had this little thing called Lyre's Orange Sec, which is a non-alcoholic spirit, like triple sec.
Yeah, this is 0 calories.
So we're going to try that. So I'm going to let you know. And some of you might be asking, well, Phil, why either just don't have a cocktail or have the cocktail with alcohol? So I totally agree. However, there is something to be said for me this month of just kind of, eating more vegetables, eating less calories through cocktails and things like that. Like it's kind of like I'm not doing a cleanse, so to speak, but it felt right after all of the holidays. And it's kind of been feeling that way every year because I think there's so much celebrating that goes on. I kind of could use a break. And one of the reasons I'd like to know is sometimes we might be doing things with and I might want to be the designated driver, but I do enjoy the flavor of cocktails. So I want to kind of see if these are really tasty or not. Also, I know with my sister, she loves margaritas, but she has Parkinson's and she really doesn't want alcohol messing with her Parkinson's. So for her, I also thought this would be good to know if it's delicious, because then she could have a margarita that's also not going to mess with her condition. So I do think, it's not just people going on a dry January train. It's also, some health reasons that people might choose to do it. All right, so we've got that going. I was like, oh my gosh, did I set the timer for the second roasting of the eggplant? And I did, so very good. All right, let me catch up. Oh, no complaining. What's going on here? I got to see. Let's see. So we're talking about a song. Oh, are those earrings? Oh, Arch. Archie asked if my earrings were vegan. No, they're not, but they have a cooking theme. So I loved that. I loved that, especially for my Philly streams. I know, Paul, right? Isn't it? He is funny. Plant-based earrings are so in at the moment. So Daga is not illegal in Amsterdam. So what is Daga? Hubs, you got to be on that. Look up. I must have missed that conversation. Oh, the earrings were steel leaf Daga shaped. No idea what happened to them. Oh. and Chris is like, the maple leaf? Is that Canadian or is that meaning another kind of leaf, Chris? And then Junior says, I had to look it up to confirm, but the mention of Amsterdam was a giveaway. I live in Oregon, you know, right next door to California. That's hysterical. I don't know, Pod, let me know. Is there something that you need to pass my way so that we can get on the same train as you, my friend? Oh, it is not, wait. I've been in Amsterdam and went everywhere with my drink and never, yes, I agree. Actually, you know what, Paul, I have to say in the States, they recommend that too, especially for women, that you should always, you know, and for young people these days, always be really careful if you are out, like at a bar or something, and be careful and be wary of your drink and make sure nothing gets slipped in it. So that is a real concern here too, not just in Amsterdam. Yes, Eugenia, you said the right thing. No female does. I absolutely agree. Eugenia, I think these would be great with your spaghetti leftovers. Absolutely. You've never had tequila, Barbara. So, so I think I've mentioned this before. My first brush with tequila was in college, and it was really cheap, nasty tequila, and it was usually after I might have been drinking a little bit. Something else, and so that is never a good idea, right? So I did not have like great experiences with tequila when I was in college, but then later, I'm trying to think, Hubs, I don't know if you know where it was, where I finally had like a really good margarita, like not one that has the sour mix, like what is that? Like what is really in the sour mix? Is it really just lime juice, or is it just something else that's pre-made? But it was a very, what might have been, you know what, hon, it might have been at, what's the Mexican place in the city with the motorcycle? Alves, which is a great restaurant here in the city. And it's also where I started liking guacamole, that I'd never had guacamole I liked. So I think that might have been my first really good margarita. This was, I forget how many years ago, 20 years ago maybe. And also my first really good guacamole, and got me on Team Avocado, and it has not left. But yeah, I really enjoy that. I don't want a tequila shot. That is not my vibe, but a nice tequila drink, I really very much enjoy. And then Post says, I bought a lot of cheese I haven't used since December. There's so many of us. I have a lot of Gruyere, so I'm gonna have to do some things with Gruyere because I've got some left over. Actually, from when we did the fondue at New Year's. And Post says, I love tequila too. I heard it help one reduce weight gain. It's been my fave since then. Never researched how true it is though. Oh, thank you, Marcy. And Chris said it's the closest I could find on here. So I'm not sure. Tell me more, Chris, what you're meaning with that. And then Eugenia says, I probably had at least my own share of tequila. Maybe someone else's. Ooh, Samara said she likes the Arbor Mist wine. Really good, light and fruity. Yes, so Hub's like some more heavy drink, like he loves bourbon, and bourbon is just really liquory for me, so I'm personally not on the bourbon train, but I do love one of my favorite drinks in the spring, summer is a spritz. So whether it is a, what's the one with elderflower called? Hugo Spritz, or an Aperol Spritz, like those are light and fruity. I love those. And Eugenia says Jamaica hibiscus flower. Margaritas are fabulous, wonderful. Oh, the leaf. Oh, because you were talking about the word that the poet used. Gotcha. I'm with you. Alrighty, so these should be done soon. When they come out, I'm going to swap this. Now this is going to cook at 375 for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to let them cool while everything else is going. So I'm going to hold these out for just a little bit. They will be fine, just hanging out, and we'll put them in because I don't want them to get too done. I want them to be warm for when we have our meatballs. So let me just tidy up a second. And let's get our cheese ready because we're going to need some Parmesan cheese for our meatballs and also for sprinkling afterwards. So I'm going to get my grater. There we go. And for the meatball recipe, we are going to be needing, let me see here, half cup grated Parmesan. So I'm going to be kind to Hubs. One of his favorite things I do when I have Parmesan is I take the edge right here and I come and give him this. So here you go, babe. Okay. Let me get this grated. There we go. So looking for a half cup. My favorite cheeses. I highly recommend fondue. We, by the way, had the best time doing fondue for New Year's. It's a great, if you're with a small group, we were just with my sister and her husband. It was a great small group thing to do because it's just it's like a meal that you share. Everyone's dipping in the cheese. We had all the different fixins of different things to dip in there, from fruit and veggies to bread. And my sister's gluten-free, so we had the gluten-free bread as well. It's just delightful and fun. And my gosh, that fondue, the cheese, it was just your very classic fondue. It had Gruyere, Montier, and raclette in it. It was delicious. It was really a wonderful cheese fondue. So enjoyed that immensely. I'm going to leave this out just in case Hubs needs a little bit more so he doesn't get out the shaky cheese, which causes great concern for me when he does that. I'm also going to make sure this thing is kind of ready to go. You know I do have my problems. Okay, it looks like it should be ready to go. And let me check. We're going to need in here, we have the parsley, we need the oregano, the garlic. Oh, great garlic. So that's what we'll do is we'll get the garlic grated. I thought I had the garlic out. Well, that's interesting. I could have sworn. We have the eggs. I don't know what I did with my garlic. 1 second, friends. Huh. Well, that's interesting. I did put it in there. Okay. That was silly. Okay, so I'm going to get my garlic out. Since I did my cheese, I can now use the grater to grate my garlic. And what this enables it to happen is to just make it more fine, so it just kind of melts into the meatballs then. So we're going to get that grated so it's ready to go, and then we can just add stuff. Okay. And I think that's our meatballs. I think they're done. Or not the meatballs, but the eggplant's done. So let me go grab that. And I'm going to turn down the heat. Oh yeah. Ooh, my goodness. Well, they got toasty, and I think that'll be fine. My goodness. Okay, so I want these to cool, so I'm going to put these right away. So you can see they got a little bit toasty, but that's the convection. I'm glad I only did it for 15 minutes. But I actually think that's going to be good. I think that's going to only add to the flavor. And Chris, there'd be nothing mushy in there. And then on my chilled plate, I'm going to just put them on and let them cool real quick in the fridge. I'll get that turned off. And then we will get these whizzed up and back in the oven. Meanwhile, what I want to do is get this turned down, temperature to 375. So on her recipe, she says turn down the temperature to 400. However, which is actually 375 in convection, that would be anyway. And I think our muffins, which cook at a regular 375, I think that they'll be fine with that. I think they'll be fine just, a little bit higher. I found that sometimes just having a little bit higher doesn't do too much to it, especially for something like we're cooking, which is just these pull-apart muffins. All right. I think with the next one, I'm going to just pour them because that took much longer than I needed it to do. I'm just going to get this thing off and bring it right over. Whoops. Oopsie, we'll save that for the meatballs. We can put them right back on. Now, I don't know why Philly didn't do this. This is like so much easier. So I'm just going to take that and dump it. Much better. And we're going to put these in the fridge just to cool. Get those cooled. Okay, we'll give that 5 minutes. How about? All right, there we go. This one fell. So the other thing, by the way, ooh, this came off. Oh, that's good. I'm going to put this cheese away. The other thing that was really funny, or that we did get at the store, was I tried the Heineken Zero, because I do like the flavor of beer, and I knew that was one thing that I was going to miss. I don't drink beer a lot, but like with certain foods, I just think it tastes really good, almost like how you might want like a Diet Coke with certain foods, or a Coke, just because it really tastes good with it. So I tried Heineken Zero, wasn't a fan. I know they're not going to taste identical to regular beer, but it just wasn't worth it. So Hubs, he's kind of like he likes a wider variety of beers than I do. Like he likes the IPAs and all the different craft beers, but he's like, it's fine. So he just has been the one to drink it. But I did see, and it seemed like it had a good rating. Let me show you. I did see that, no, that's the Heineken. That's not the one I want to show you. I did see, let me find it. No, that's still the Heineken. Oh, here they are. So I did see they have one by Stella now, called Stella Liberté. And so I'm going to give it a try. So I will let you know how that one is too. And speaking of which, I'll definitely let you know how that one is when we have our next stream. Our next stream is going to be a little while. This weekend, we're going to visit my folks in Florida. I'm sorry, we're not going to visit. My sister's going to visit. In any event, I won't be on. But then next week, I will be doing a stream for Wings Wednesday on the 24th. And it's going to be Thai curry wings. So they'll be really delicious. And you know how I like to have beer with my wings. So that'll be on Wednesday the 24th. And Eugenia says she likes beer with some things. And Mara said she's not a fan of beer. And Barb says she loves beer in summer. That's awesome. Oh my goodness, I'm going into, and so Marcy said Parmesan cheese is used in many dishes. I'm actually making a lasagna. I just mixed my ricotta cheese with Parmesan, parsley, and shredded mozzarella. That's awesome. I'm not over fond of fondling a fondue. Oh, I see where you went, Arch. Oh, Archie, you know how to go down a lane, don't you? And Chris said the Oregon brewery situation is insane. Wonderful. So many. Did you know that, Hubs?
Yeah.
Okay, Hubs said, yeah, he did know about that. Excellent. Chris, what's your favorite, what are some of the beer, is there some beer that just really stand out to you? Craft beers, Pilsners, lagers, IPAs, anything like that? And then Eugenia says, I'm in Bend, really something's getting covered up, out of control here. Oh, so is this the breweries then, Eugenia? Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to continue grating this garlic. There we go. And so you can see I'm not peeling this. And what happens is the peel just stays. It kind of just comes right out of the peel. So you kind of save yourself the frustration and that extra step by doing that. So not too shabby. There we go. Okay, excellent. And I'm going to save this just in case Hubs wants it with some more cheese. I'm going to give it a good rinse. So our garlic is grated, and I'm going to check on the eggplant and see if it has cooled just a tad so we can get this whizzed up. So let me just tidy this real quick, get the garlic peels. And I think in her recipe, she did 2 cloves of garlic. One of them was really small, 2 of them were really small, so I just did 3 because of the size. So you just kind of got to eyeball like what seems to make sense for you. All right, so I'm going to bring this over, and my 5 minutes is up, so that's great. And we'll get this loaded up. So again, we're not looking for this to be cold. We're just looking for it to be room temperature. And that's fine. Yeah, that 5 minutes, especially on a cold plate, that totally brought the temperature down. So we're going to put this in. So we're just putting all of our eggplant in. Okay, so we got that. Next, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of the quinoa, and that's in the fridge. I still have my quinoa spoon, so we're going to add our 1/2 cup of quinoa. Okay. Then we want to add our 1/4 cup of parsley. There we go. And we have our fresh, let me use this, our fresh garlic. There we go. Then we're going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So I'm going to just estimate the pepper, freshly ground. Now there's already quite a bit of salt in here. That's why it's just a tad of salt. And if you were looking to make it lower sodium, you could even try and just leave that salt out. I am going to add it this time because I'm going to let you know with salting, the eggplant and with, what was the other thing, with the cheese, because then we also have our cheese. So we also want to put in our 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan. And I think I don't know if I still have my 1/2 cup, so I'm just going to estimate. Okay. And we need 2 eggs, oregano, and our Calabrian pepperoncino. So we're going to 2 eggs. And she just whizzes this all up in her food processor. Got 2 eggs. So you could use eggs from your girls, Arch. And then since she said a tablespoon of fresh oregano, I'm going to do a scant tablespoon of dried oregano. Nope, I'm going to use my other one. I can't stand when the things don't fit in. That's always a pet peeve of mine. So this is a 1/2, and I'll do another scant 1/2. There we go. And we don't want to forget, our panko. We can't forget our panko. So in here we need a cup of, oh gosh, this is going to get a little tight. A cup of panko. Oh, things falling all over the place. Okay, so we get a cup of panko. Yeah, this is going to be a tight fit. This is going to be a very tight fit. This will be interesting. And then a tablespoon of the Calabrian chilies. And I'm going to go with a tablespoon because that's what she recommended. We do like spice. And again, I'll let you know how hot this is. Oh, these are just so good. Look at that red yumminess. So there we go. Look at that oil. Excellent. And then we are going to whiz this up and we're going to roll these out. So let me throw this away. And pray that I can get this in, all right? Oh my, oh my. Wait, okay, okay. All right, we're halfway there. Please, I think it's gonna work. Now I'm just going to put down the sides just to help make sure everything got incorporated. And I can tell like I want it a little bit finer because when I saw her do it, hers, and I'm going to put a little bit of that plopped onto the cheese. Hers got pretty fine. So I do want to let it go a little longer. Okay. Let me just try one more. I don't want to blow the motor out because this isn't a super great one. So let me show you how it looks. So here's the mixture, okay? So there's our mixture. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to move this, get this off, and we're going to put our cookie sheet, flip that over, put our cookie sheet there. We'll use this one. Already has parchment paper on it, and we are going to just make some meatballs. Let me get a little spoon to help me get the, actually this spoon will work good because it'll help scrape it too. Okay. All right, so let me wash my hands one more time. And what am I missing here? So Johnny said, I'm a drink for effect guy, vodka. Ah, you like your vodka? Scroll a little bit. I do not drink beer or wine. All right. My favorite local is called Nut Crusher by Wild Ride Brewing. Have you heard of that? Nope. She said it's a peanut butter porter and it's out of this world. Wow, that sounds amazing. And Marcy said here in Boston, most people have Heineken, Colt, Corona, and Guinness. And Archie says, I'm not a beer aficionado, but Asahi Japanese is my go-to. Oh, I've never heard of that. Oh, Hubs likes that, Archie. He says that is a good beer. He knows that one. Meanwhile, I'm going to continue to read, but I'm just going to get these out. So she says make about about a 1.5 inch meatball. This is rolling really easy. You can see that. So I'm just getting that rolled. Okay, and you could always wet your hands if it's not sticking together. In fact, I might get a little water because that could be helpful in case any, I know I do that with chicken when I'm making chicken meatballs or chicken burgers. It just helps it stay together or not stick to your fingers when you use the water on this side. And so what else did I miss here? And Johnny said, Chris says, Mexican beer is quite popular here, Modelo and Dos Equis. I love both of those. Those are two favorites. I like both. And I like, I don't know, would that be called a lager, Hubs? Like Modelo and Dos Equis? So. Yeah, like that's kind of my style of beer as far as I don't like a heavy flavor. We went to Victory? We were with the kids. We went to Victory and did some flights. And I actually liked all of the beers I had. I kind of went a little bit out of my comfort zone with some things. I think they stayed with lagers, but some were definitely darker. And I enjoyed them. So I'm just going to, what I'm finding is working best is squish it together and then roll. This one's a little bit smaller. She says you'll get about 12. So Barb, I know you shred your eggplant, but what else do you add to your eggplant meatballs? I'm curious. And I'm going to take the blade out because that'll be problematic soon. Let me just get that out. Okay, I need to get that rinsed. Let me see what else you guys are saying. And then Eugenia says, Marcy, I thought Boston was all about Sam Adams. True. Yeah, and some people drink at the bars. Is that blender vegan friendly? It's vegan friendly as long as you clean it well. That's, I know, the biggest thing I have with people that, and not just my nieces, but with people that are vegetarian or vegan, is just making sure that, dishes that or things that you're using, animal products in, they just appreciate that they are cleaned well. Like you don't use the same spoon when you're cooking in your meat sauce and then dip it into the vegan sauce. Like a lot of times when I'm cooking, unless it's a vastly different dish, I'm often using the same utensil stirring just because, it's like, why dirty something else? But I know if I'm cooking for my nieces or someone else that I know who is a vegan or vegetarian, I make sure that I don't do that. I'm very mindful of it. Kind of like you would for an allergy. It's not an allergy, but I have a friend who's celiac, so I'm really careful when I'm fixing food for her because the gluten it's an allergy for her. And look, this is making, I think it would have made exactly 12 had I made them exactly all the same size, but I'm pretty impressed because I think sometimes they'll say, oh, it'll make this many, and you're like, which is fine, but it's just this got pretty exact. Made a little bit over, actually. Okay, I'm going to add that to that and this to this one and get them rolled. And now these are going to go in the oven on the lower temperature, so at 400 for for me, it'll be about 15 minutes because I'm going to have it on convection, but for regular, it would be for about 20 minutes. So we get to go a little quicker here. All right. But look at those. I thought those turned out pretty well. I'm pretty excited about them. I think they're going to have a good texture. Let me show you. Look at how those turned out. Some pretty fine meatless meatballs. And she doesn't say, but I'm going to spray them with a little bit of olive oil spray. I'm not sure if she just missed that but it feels right to me to get a little bit of olive oil spray on there. And we're going to pop these in. And the other things we're going to pop in are let's see on the bottom, are these wonderful cheesy biscuits. Pull apart. So those are all both going to go in. And we are going to put on the timer for 15 minutes. Excellent. There we go. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm going to tidy up a little bit. In fact, Hubs, I have acquired quite a few dishes here, Love, and
I kind of have
oh, you have something you got to do? Okay, all right. So I will try to do some of them, and then I'm going to get the sauce warmed up so they can go right in the sauce. So he put a kibosh on that, but no, he's got an issue he has to work on. All right, so let me just put a couple of these things away. Because again, we are not a studio kitchen. Obviously, we are a real kitchen with real people that are going to be having a real dinner in a little bit. And curiously, I want to see what time it is. I'm going to get some water in this because this one thing does look like it is going to be problematic if I do not get some water going on that. So let me just get that. A couple of these things rinsed off. There we go. I don't know why I had that there. So let's just tidy up a little bit so that we can try it when it's done. Whoops, didn't need that. Okay. Get this in the dishwasher. Pull these things. I had some tea. I was drinking some tea and now it's cold. It was much better warm. I was drinking some Lady Grey. So Archie, I was thinking that you'd be pleased that we've been doing a lot or a little bit more tea lately. Hubs is actually one that's got me back on my tea. I've always enjoyed tea, but just hadn't really been drinking it much lately. So we were chilly this afternoon and I'm like, would you like some tea? Because I just was feeling a little cold and tea always warms you up. So we had some Lady Grey. What's your favorite tea, Arch? And not just Archie, but friends. If other friends like tea, let me know what kind of tea you like. I enjoy English breakfast. I like Earl Grey. There's a fancy tea that I got, and I cannot remember the name of it, and that's also good. I'll try to take a peek up there. Let me just get a couple of these things in here out of the way. There we go. Just to help with the tidying process. And then I'm going to get my sauce warming because I know I'm going to need that to be ready. All right, so we get this put there. This is all wiped off, ready to go. Put my parsley away, and we'll get some sauce going. So this can go away now. Don't need that. Our quinoa can be put away, and then here's where I'm going to put the sauce. So as I mentioned, since I'm going to be using Rayo's, I'm just going to get that warming. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to get this turned on. Whoop, 1 second. Sometimes when you clean this, it kind of gets all turned off. There we go, that's better. Okay. I don't think I'll need all of this sauce. Yeah, I think that'll be enough sauce. I'm gonna get that warmed up. It's just so good. I'm telling you, and I know Barbara feels the same way. It is, I'm gonna add just a tad bit more. It is just a delightful, and my favorite, because they have a couple different varieties, my favorite is the tomato basil. I really love their tomato basil. I think it's absolutely delicious. It's really, really nice. All right, so we'll get that warmed up. I didn't use this, so I can put that away. Thank you all for your patience as I just do a 10-second tidy real quick. Put that away. Excellent, okay. All right, we've got our extra cheese here. And get that going. All right, so let me see what y'all are saying. So Archie was asking, wait, oh Ruby, welcome to the stream. Wait, let me go back to where you first came on, Rube. I'm so glad you popped in. I hope I didn't miss you. You might have popped off already, but Ruby, sending my love to you and DS. Thank you for popping in. And we are certainly thinking about DS, and I'm glad he's still improving. That's good. Oh my goodness. So yes, so Eugenia, you put up a great point. So there's nothing difficult about it. They are labor intensive. So being that I eat everything, so I eat meats, I eat vegetables. There's nothing that I consider off limits, specifically for me. So it is much easier. My rings on real quick. Is much easier grabbing, a package of ground chicken or ground meat to make meatballs. No lie, that is definitely easier. And for me, I usually don't use ground beef and or the veal and the pork for the fancy meatballs that I make. They're not fancy, but they're the traditional meatballs that I make Hubs for his birthday each year because he loves the spaghetti and meatballs. So here are my rings. But traditionally, for us, we usually use chicken or turkey only because it's just, it's a little healthier. And so we don't eat as much red meat. We love red meat, but we just don't eat that all the time. It's kind of special. Red meat is more special for us when we do have it. So it is so much easier just grabbing some ground beef. Why I'm glad I tried this is because in my family, I do have a vegetarian and a vegan. And what I love about this recipe is that I could make this and I could actually not use the cheese. So for a vegan, they don't use any kind of animal products, so the cheese would be out. But you could use nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is something that's a good sub for Parmesan cheese. So I could use nutritional yeast, and I would use gluten-free breadcrumbs, which they have now, gluten-free panko breadcrumbs even, so that my sister could eat it. So what's nice for me with this is that if I like this recipe, that's something that I could do for, my family, because not my boys, but my nieces, that is, their food preferences. And so I cook from my heart. I cook for those I love. And so for me, that's important. But certainly, and for me, the benefit and the reason I chose to do it today for Meatless Monday is it's a great recipe, when you're feeling kind of like a spaghetti meatball kind of thing, and to be able to have it for, more veggies. But you're right, Eugenia, it is definitely a little more labor intensive. It's not that it's difficult, it just has more steps. And truly, remember we were making the muffins, so the main step that you have to take ahead of time is cubing, sweating out the eggplant and then roasting it. The quinoa, that's super easy to make, and then you're just putting all the ingredients together and blending them together. So the main thing is the preparation of the eggplant. But I will let you know how good it is, because she makes, this content creator, Ereka Vetrini, she makes some delicious, delicious food. So I really do think these are going to be quite tasty. So I'm really anxious to try them. But you're right. It's a really good feedback, because I do think sometimes certain dishes, unless they are, ones that we truly, truly love, we're often not going to want to put as much time into them, as others. And Archie, where's the beef? I know, Arch, no beef today. Well, actually, so both of us had off today, but he's doing some work right now on the phone. Because what happens is, even if you're off, sometimes there's still things that are happening. So he's taking care of some stuff right now. But anyways, Eugenia was saying, let's see. Barb, she likes English breakfast tea. I love English breakfast tea. It's probably my favorite. And then Eugenia likes Tetley Alachi tea. I've never heard of that. Ooh, is that a black tea, like a dark tea, or is that more of an herbal tea? And the tea world is getting bigger and bigger, I agree. Simple Yorkshire. So tell me, Simple Yorkshire, what does that mean, Archie? I don't know I've never heard of Simple Yorkshire. And Eugenia says, and you said, I love iced tea as Hubs loves ghost chili. Oh, so you don't care for iced tea. I will say I love iced tea. That is probably, if I'm not drinking water, I'm most likely drinking iced tea. And I don't like a sweet tea. I mean, I like a sweet, like this is sweet, and I add a little bit of milk because my grandma taught me that. I always, unless it's a certain kind of tea that it wouldn't be good in, I always add a touch of milk to my tea. And that was from my grandma, the one who taught me about the pecan rolls and the apricot crisscross and all that good stuff, and the anise cookies. And Eugenia says, what they do, so Eugenia, yes, so much sweetener. So when I drink iced tea, I drink it unsweetened, actually, with some lemon. That is my favorite way to have tea. It's funny, I do like sugar in my my hot tea, but in my iced tea, I like it without sugar. I just like it. It's more thirst quenching for me. Yes, Chris, I agree. I'm not a fan of sweet tea. No sugar allowed. Oh, Eugenia, just like that. Absolutely. Half a lemon worth in mine. Yes, I agree. The lemon is everything. And vodka iced tea. Yes. Well, Hubs, one of his favorite summer cocktails, it's not fancy at all. It's the John Daly. So it's half iced tea, half lemonade. So it's unsweetened iced tea, lemonade, and then I think it is vodka. I think that's what you add to it. He loves it. It's just very refreshing. And then Ruby said, we enjoy tea called Chachalong Oolong. So that is a darker tea. I may have spelled the first word wrong, but it's smoked oolong. Ooh, Ruby, that sounds fabulous. And Johnny says, we don't water down our vodka with anything. Oh, that's hysterical. And you like green tea. Oh, I really like green tea. Yes, And that I got on the kick, I don't know, like 5 years ago, or maybe it was 10 years ago. And matcha, I don't know, I've had matcha in things like at a restaurant, but I've never just had matcha tea. So that's something I still haven't tried yet. I agree, Marcy. I love meat, but I also love trying different dishes. And so just like we tried the dishes from Nepal, from that the dumpling place earlier this week, I just love that. To me, it's a great way to, just checking on my sauce. To me, it's a great way to experience all that life has to offer, trying all these different foods. And I love the creativity. You know, we have some phenomenal vegetarian and vegan restaurants. Like, they are acclaimed. And my favorite thing is taking my niece to them, because she can go and just order anything. And that is a joy for me to see, because I love her to pieces to see her do that. And their creativity is astounding and absolutely delicious. So I can't even express how good it can be. And oh yes, we can't use eggs. Thank you, Eugenia. I would use another binding agent. You're right. You are exactly right. And I know there are some other agents. There's actually she uses a couple different egg products, and one's better for baking, and one would probably be better for like this kind of application. And elachi tea is black tea with cardamom. Oh, that sounds delicious. And you were saying that Yorkshire is the #1 tea brand. So, okay. So Yorkshire tea is just the traditional British tea. I bet you I would love it, because I think when I think of traditional tea, I think of British tea. I'll have to look for that. And Marcy likes the Sleepy Time mint tea. Oh my gosh, these all sound wonderful. I love it. Ruby said DS was a chef at a vegan restaurant. The food was amazing. I agree, Ruby. And I did not know that about him. That's amazing. We just have such creative vegan restaurants here in the city, and they put out absolutely delicious food. So by the way, we have 30 seconds left. We are almost there, friends. Thank you for being so patient. Let me take you around to show you how everything looks, because it is going to go off. So let's see. So right here we have our sauce simmering. That was my shortcut. Thank you for letting me do a little shortcut, friends. So there's my sauce. Worked so hard on that sauce today. Hey, we all need shortcuts sometimes, right? And I'm going to let this come out so it can get the heat out. Oh my gosh. Wait till you see this. So there are our meatballs. There are the absolute delicious cheesy muffins. Let's get these out first. I'm trying to think where I'm going to put that. Okay, I'm going to put it up here and readjust things. 1 second. And I'm going to, sorry for all the movement, friends. We're probably getting motion sickness. Try this out. We definitely have some cheesiness going on there. Look at that. Look at that. Cheese. Oh my gosh. Absolutely delicious. Those are going to be just a little bit yummy. Okay, so I just need to do a little bit of moving. I'm going to move this out of the way so I can put my meatballs over here and get them loaded. I'm going to put that here. Again, hopefully I'm not making you all motion sick. I'm going to turn off my timer. I'm going to turn off the oven. Let's see here. Okay, so let's get these going. I think I got my tongs out, but I don't see them, so let me get my tongs out. Oh, here they are. Okay, I'm just going to pop these in. And let's get them rolling around in some delicious sauce. The other thing I'll let you know is how these are from a perspective of you know, like, could they go into some other sauces? Like, because there are so many different sauces we can use with meatballs, or would this be best with like a tomato-based sauce? So I'll give you some feedback on that. And of course, you know, if you were going to use these in something like Swedish meatballs, I would definitely leave out the Calabrian chilies, because Swedish meatballs are more of a comfort food, not a spicy food, of course. Just trying to get them all to roll a little bit. Okay. I think I'm going to have to use my hand. So let me just do a little shake. Oh, that didn't quite work as I wanted. I just like some coverage. There we go. Pop them all around a little bit. Excellent. So pop that one. I'm going to cover this up, let them simmer for a minute, and then we are going to get to tasting. Oh, I got to put cheese on here. That's the other thing I got to do. Okay, I almost forgot about that. Let's grate a little bit of that cheese and put that on top. So let's do that. Let me get that cheese out. I knew there was something else I wanted to do. Totally forgot. Okay, so we're going to grate a little bit of the cheese. Finish my tea. I'm sure, though, Ruby, I'm sure that DS has some great, memorable dishes that they had at that restaurant. I will have to, when he's feeling better, I'll have to ask him and see what some of those dishes were that he enjoyed. I'm going to turn off my oven. We don't need that anymore. All right. Let me cut a little bit of this off so I can grate it. There we go. And pay a little cheese tax to myself. There we go. Nothing like mozzarella cheese. Okay, let's get this grated and onto our meatballs, and then let's try this. I cannot wait to try these things together. So yummy. Okay, oh, the grater. That's here. I'm gonna use my little mini grater for no reason except that, I don't know, I'm not gonna need a ton of cheese, so I don't need to get my big one out. There we go. We're almost ready, Hubs.
Good.
You hungry?
Yeah.
What time is it anyway? Oh, it's not even 5 o'clock. I'm ahead of schedule. And by the way, thank you all. I know this was a long stream, but thank you for hanging in there. I can't tell you, y'all have to, I just want you all to know how much I appreciate you coming on, you chatting. I know that not everyone can always come on and not everyone can stay the whole time, and I don't take anything for granted. So I just want everyone to know that I appreciate. And for those of you who might be watching and not chatting because that's not your thing, I see you too and I appreciate that. I'm thrilled to be in this foodie community. I feel like you have empowered me to try things that I never thought I would have tried. And Archie, I was serious. I am going to do a pie next month. I haven't figured out the date yet, and I'm talking one of your pies, a meat pie, because I feel like that is something that I've got to check off my list. Okay, so I'm going to just twirl these a little bit and then get some cheese on there. And then in just a short minute, they'll be ready. I just want them to soak up the sauce, because I feel like meatballs really take on, besides the wonderful flavors that they have in there, they also take on kind of the sauce that you have with them. So I just want to make sure that these have an opportunity too. So I'm just going to sprinkle the cheese on top. And again, this would be great on top of spaghetti and meatballs, but we are going to just have meatballs with these little garlic muffins. And you can do that. Sometimes, I know, to me, sometimes you just feel like bread and don't feel like the pasta. All right, so I'm going to pop this lid on, get that cheese melted, and let's pop these out and see how these do. Okay. Let me just rinse this. That cheese will stick, so let me just rinse this a quick sec. There we go. Okay, and my poor towel keeps dropping. I'm going to need to get a new one. Okay, so let's pop these out. Let's see how easy these pop out, actually. I think I'll try one of my little spatulas. Oh, they come right out. Super easy. Very easy. Totally pop out. This is a cheesy one. My goodness, look at all the cheese on that one. Wow. I'll put that one in there. I'll put this one here. Look at that. Those are not going to suck. Let me show them to you so you can see. Those. Let me show you how one of them look in the inside. So let me show you. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at that cheese pull. Holy cow. That is something. Oh my goodness. Okay, Hubs, I'm going to just taste this right now because I can't pull this and not taste it. So
Do you want me to come over?
I think you should. Oh. Oh. You can never go wrong with adding a little too much cheese.
What about, do you have sauce or no?
I'm going to get it. You got to put your, no, put it on this first.
What's that?
Put on your microphone first. Turn it on, please. Thank you. All right. Whoa, was that good? Great idea, She Will Evolve. And I'm sure, oh, and you know what? I'm going to add just a tad also of this Parmesan cheese because we have it. So let me just add that.
So can I take a bite?
Yep. Tell them what you think. And I'm going to bring you all over to show you this because this is beautiful.
What is this, a cheese ball?
It's biscuit, cheese, garlic.
I was joking.
Oh, see, I did it with my fingers. I was a little braver. Look at this, friends.
I'm dignified.
Look at this. Look how beautiful that looks. Like that looks gorgeous.
Oh, that's good.
Doesn't that look nice? Oh,
So
hon,
that's what you were making. That's what you
He
were.
just hit me, friends.
That's what you were making
Watch out, babe.
instead of the bread. I got it.
Yeah, that's our bread for today.
Yeah.
If you saw me move, because he does his whole Elaine thing, you know, Elaine on Seinfeld. She's
wait a
like,
minute.
stop.
I was going to say, you do it more than I do.
Oh, I don't know about that. All right, so we're going to bring our dish up here. I'm going to switch spots with you, babe. There we go. Okay, so it's try time. Let me get our plate. All right, let me get a little spoon for the sauce. Are you excited about these?
Yeah, I am. No, I am.
His wife has been cooking for almost 2 hours, and it's, yeah, I am.
No, I'm very excited.
All right, so I'm going to...
Ruby just signed off.
Ruby did. Ruby popped in. It was so wonderful to see her. So here's one for you.
Okay.
You're going to have to wait because I'm going to get another one up for me. He's with bated breath. Look at the cheese. See, that's why you do cheese, because you would just miss that. That cheese pull is everything. Honestly.
Goodness.
Honestly. Look, friends, like, come on. Okay. Ready?
I think I want that
no,
one.
I'm taking a cheesy one. Okay, so wait. Pause a second. I just wanted to see inside. I love making him wait. Look at that, friends. So you can see, like, it actually, what's funny about it, let me get a better shot. There we go. Look, it actually looks like meat inside. Like, I know you can say, oh, it's quinoa and that's eggplant, but, like, it's amazing how much it kind of looks like meat. I don't know. I'm just fascinated by this.
It's going to be hot.
Thank you. I thought it was going to be cold. Hey, it's going to be hot. Oh, that's good.
That's pretty good.
I just put a load of cheese on there, but that just because I could.
Oops.
That's amazing.
So
That's amazing.
What's the?
I mean, make no mistake. There's no meat in there, but it's very meaty. Wouldn't you agree?
What's the percentage of quinoa to eggplant?
There's only a half cup of quinoa in there. Like there was this container. Oh, it's in the sink now for you to wash. Was mostly full or at least half full of the eggplant, the
Okay.
roasted eggplant. And then I put only a half cup of quinoa in there. So it is not a lot of quinoa.
Yeah, you're right. It like sticks together really well. It doesn't.
It feels, it is so meatball-y. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like it has the texture of a meatball. Ereka Vetrini.
Doesn't necessarily taste like a meatball, but
it has all the flavors of an Italian meatball.
yeah, it does.
It is not too spicy whatsoever. I'm sure it would be good without the Calabrian, but I don't find it spicy at all.
What's the Calabrian?
So I put a tablespoon of Calabrian, those hot chilies. You know, the ones we use in
Oh,
our.
yeah.
I put a
Sounds good.
tablespoon. Like that's a good amount.
Yeah, smart.
But if you can find it, I would put it in because it just adds flavor. I wouldn't even rate it a 1 on heat. Like it's just.
Yeah, it's not.
No one would know it's in there.
I didn't know
But-
it was in there.
I feel like they add like more oomph. So Eugenia, to your point that we talked about, it is more labor intensive. I really like them. I mean, I would totally make them for, for my vegetarian niece. I would definitely need to adjust for my vegan niece, and of course the cheese would, but I think it could be adjusted. I actually think these are really good. What do you think? Do you so on a scale of 1 to 5? Okay, he's being a little pain. He wants me to use my fork and eat some meatballs. He's being a little pest, friends. So okay, on a scale 1 to 5, I give them a 5. I think they were excellent. Like they exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, I would give them a 4.
Okay, and tell me, it's just because it's more to be informative to them. So why would you give it a 4 as opposed to a 5?
Because it's not meat.
Right, but they're not a meatball. They're a vegetarian meatball. So how do they compare to Be Good? Like I think they're better than Be Good. I agree, they're better than Be Good, which is the first time we had
Yeah, they're much better than Be Good. The quinoa was I would actually, but I love eggplant. Mm-hmm. So I could do with less quinoa and more eggplant.
So I think it's the binding, though. I think is what helps. It's but you could try. But
it's really good.
But
though.
you don't taste the quinoa. It's just that you see
No,
the
no,
quinoa.
no.
And the quinoa, adds protein. So that's one thing it helps do is it helps add protein. Yeah. So these are stupid.
Those are great.
These are stupid good, and I loved these. I just think they were excellent.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, highly recommend. So
I would say 4.5.
Oh, now he's hedging. Oh, maybe 4.5. Now Ereka Vetrini, this was phenomenal, and she will evolve. These were delicious. I highly recommend this. This is so delicious. It does not pretend to be meat, but it gives you that total meatball experience, and the flavor is outstanding, and it's a great way to have a Meatless Monday. So pleased with this recipe, and thank you so much. Oh my gosh, Marcy, Barb. Oh, please, let's not get water on the food. So Marcy, Barb, Eugenia, Archie, Ruby, NDS from afar, and Chris. And there was someone new that had popped on, and I forget what that friend's name was. And if I've forgotten anyone, I'm going to try to... Yes, Poe! Thank you! See, my brain.
Johnny,
yeah, that's Chris. That's Chris.
Right.
So yes, Poe, thank you for popping on, and it was so wonderful. I had wonderful chats. Truly love you guys. And friends, join me not this coming week, but the next week for Wings Wednesday and our Thai curry wings. And Kathy sending love out there, and DS sending love out there too, and Amy sending love out there too. So friends, until we eat again, bye-bye.
Bye.